joining us from. Apologies that my voice is sounding this funny. I'm not feeling too well, but it's just a minor cough and cold. So today it's an interesting one because it's originally started as this was supposed to be an Excel session. Then there was a mix up on our part anyway. Then Salif found out. That's even the interesting part. So we didn't even spot it early. There had been so many changes. You will notice this year it was Ifeanyi that was taking it in January. Then Chidi took it for some months. Then now it's back to me and Temina. So between all of that, we didn't follow up correctly. But I think it's an opportunity because a lot of you also who use Power BI too. I always tell people that don't zero your mind. Don't just say, oh, don't take data analysis like a football club where you just don't want to hear anything about the other clubs and you want to put them down. I don't think that would be a healthy way to look at things. Just be open-minded. Even if you don't intend to use this, you will get concepts that you apply in whatever tool you want to use, and more importantly, if you ask me, in my new contract role I do for a big Canadian company, since I joined, I'm to do just Power BI, but since I joined, the thing that they all agreed that was a value add that I created, that they were very proud of, people talk about it and praise me, They didn't praise me on all the normal Power BI, all the things that in quote were the big deal that they employed me and interviewed me for when they were taking me for the contract role. But the thing that they've been praising me for is something in Excel. And the interesting thing was the person who was doing this role before I joined, I think they've asked him, and he was like, it's not possible. And I think he's right. But because I am using Excel, it was not just really possible, it became something the other people can use. So I want you to open your mind. That's all what I'm saying is don't ever have this, no, if it's not this tool that I like, then I'm not interested, or where will I use this? And for those of you who already use Excel a lot, for Salif is that amazing person that there's nothing he teach you if you pay attention, you will get it. You can't, some people will teach you something and you will still be like confused. He's a natural teacher, so he runs also a training company, Excel More, and he also works full time in all of these. So I want to just let you know that you will learn a lot of applicable things and you're in great hands. All right, so I've done too many talk, but I'll do talk a fast one through the other ones. As usual, we always tell you Enterprise DNA is one of our sponsors. They used to give us I'll get out the situation. They used to give us a free course coupon to a lucky winner. For some time now, I think we've not given that prize away yet. So we're going to reach out to them. I know things also has changed a lot at their end. So we'll find out what the new situation of that partnership is, and then we'll resume it hopefully. I think they still have it. It's just that the number of winners has reduced. It's not like every week as we used to do it before. But you can always also check them out for your virtual learning needs around just, I think, Power Platform. They are focused a lot more on more tools, Power BI, Power Automate, the Power Platform. I think it's just Excel they don't really try to do. So you can check them out. And then there is I was supposed to update this logo, but it's already too late to do, or I needed to do more important announcements. So there's MHS. MHS, to be sincere, even if we say it in a way that makes it look like MHS is a separate entity, it's the same people. So it's the same UrBizEdge, but we now have a presence in Canada. But so that we don't confuse people who are engaging with in Canada, we cannot use the same company name because UrBizEdge already has a website. So if they go to UrBizEdge website, they will get confused. And why do we look like a Nigerian company and a trading company? And it will just get them confused. So we have to use a completely neutral name and then focus the website and services to the Canadian marketplace. And here in Canada, consulting is a big deal. That's one thing I was trying to tell people in the questions that they asked, I think 2 weeks ago, that the opportunity is bigger out there. It's not like it's not there in Nigeria, but even while you're in Nigeria, look out. Don't just narrow yourself to the things you can get within the Nigerian marketplace. For the last 8 years, okay, not 8 years, for the last 5 years, I have steadily be getting more projects outside of Nigeria before I finally moved base. So I just want you to know that you know, we now have a Canadian presence. If you are ever here or you have friends who moved here and you want them to, ease their way into the data analysis space, we tell them the truth. That's the thing I want you to be assured of. We won't try to force them to buy something that won't value. We'll tell them the truth. It's not just about trying to make money. We make good enough money. We are not trying to be billionaires, but I think if we've been truthful, it will help us in the long run. So just feel free to let them know, and we will give them information that they need. And it has a website. And so I'm going to move to our special guest, and his name is Salif. He's a known person, and I'll still read his profile, but I'm going to say more than what is on the screen because I have known him now for about it's more than 2 years. Maybe this will be the third year. I know it's I don't think it was last year, it was 2 years ago. So this makes it third year. And he's someone who speaks French, English, and the thing I respect in him a lot that I am trying to emulate is the fact that there are some of us who we look at roadblocks. He might not understand why I'm saying from Lisa. So we look at, oh, maybe I need to speak French, Spanish, I need to do this, I need to do that before I do this. For him, is natural at three things that I've observed. He likes to learn, he likes to share his knowledge, and he's as a consultant, I think he also has these amazing consultants habit of wanting to create value in whichever capacity and way. So he's constantly learning, he's constantly sharing his knowledge. He goes extra mile to create practice, all these trainings for us, all these sessions for us. You will see that this is not something someone just slapped together some PowerPoint. He spent maybe 2 days, 3 days, like a whole lot of time to get those things together for us. So I want you to always see that you're getting more than just 1 hour benefit from him. He's done a lot to put together whatever he's taking us through, and it's a pleasure to always have Salif. He's a Microsoft certified trainer. He's the founder of excelmore.com. You can check it out. I'm going to put the link in the chat box. He's got so many certifications to solidify his knowledge and just to let you get that comfort that he's gone through whatever it is you're going to go through certification wise and on the job and in training and all. He works in the financial advisory space. I know he's always going around countries. I see my colleague put Senegal now. Maybe that's where he is currently, but I know he used to bounce around a lot of countries. He used to be in Morocco one time, I guess. So, Salif, I'm going to hand over to you. It's a pleasure to have you again. Thank you for coming.
Okay, thank you, Michael. And hi, everyone. Thank you for having me today. And I am Salif Sawadogo. I'm working in Senegal right now. And yeah, I just moved in Senegal 4 months ago. And I'm working with a consultant company in financial advisory. And I'm also a data analyst and business intelligence. So today we are going to talk about key functions in Excel and how we can use them to set up a dynamic reporting.
Just to mention, I've stopped sharing my screen, so in case you want to share it.
Okay, let me share my screen right now. Yeah, you can see that, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. So we are talking about how we can build a dynamic report in Excel using key function. So let's start just with the basic. Key function allow us to pull value from data model directly into cells. So they are working like a pivot table, and we are going to see how we can compare them with pivot table. So we are talking about four key function today. There are many more key function, but we are focusing in just the four function today. This is a cube member function, cube set, cube ranked members, and cube value. And if you want to see more cube function, I put a link here. I will share my file with you if you want to learn more about cube function. So cube member return a member from a cube, and we can think about the cube like a data model. So this function will return the cube member of the data model, and we can use them to validate that the member exists in the cube, in the data model. The keep set function, we can use it when we performing like a top end analysis. For example, if we want to see our 10 top 10 5 product by sales, or 10 top 10 I don't know, brand by margin, we can use this CubeSet function, and we can use this function together with the cube ranked member. So they're working together and to allow us to be able to analyze the top 5 product by sale. And the last but not least, the key value, the most important function, it can allow us to return an aggregate numerical value based on a set of member expression. So this is my report. I will be using the key function to put every value in my report. But before we come back to this dashboard, let's start with the basic. For example, here I have a small data set. I have some product, brand, category, hardness, and size. For example, if I turn this to pivot table, just go to Insert tab, pivot table, existing worksheet. I guess put this here. For example, I'm going to use pivot table here from my small data set. For example, if I want to see a product by, for example, here I don't have value, but I just want to let me choose just the row ID. I guess we just want to show you how we can compare this to key function. For example, I have my pivot table here. For example, I prefer to use the brand, so we have just few lines. So I have my brand here, and I have the number of the brand in my data set. And we can turn all of this in cube formula. For example, if I go to pivot analyze, I can go to okay, before I do this, because I have to put all of this in my data model so I can turn everything in. Yeah, okay, let me convert this in a table, and then if I go to pivot table, let's add this to the data model. Okay, let's take time. Yeah, we are good. If I come back here, I just want to create a pivot table from this table again, worksheet. Okay, I take brand in my line ID. Oh, don't they know how to? Actually not working. Like, we should just have to the OLAP tool. We convert everything in formula. I don't really know what's happening with my worksheet, but I just want to go back to my dashboard and show you my data model. So I have, let me go to Power Query. I import everything from Power Query. Okay, this is my data set. I have a dimension table. We have the date table. We have manager table, a product table, and we have the store table. And this is my fact table, the sales table. So we have everything. The transaction is recorded in this table. And after that, I put everything in my data model. If I go back to Power Pivot, go to Manage. If I go to Diagram View, so from here we have our data model. So we have the fact table that's related to the dimension table, the date, manager table, product, and store table. So we connect everything together, and then we create some measure here from the cell data. So we create the sales amount. So we just take the unit sold, we multiply by the unit price, and then we have the margin. The margin is calculated from the unit sold time unit price time the row margin. So we have the row margin here for every line. And then we have the margin percentage. Just take the margin divided by the sales, and we have the quantities of the unit. So this is the sum of the unit sold column. And we are going to use those measure in our report. Okay, for example, here I want to set up a report for sales by store. So I have my store here, and the measure I wanted to use the unit sold, the sale amount, and the margin from every store location. And then I wanted to a table again for the brand, the sales, and the margin for every brand. And then we are going to use the top 5 product by sales. We're going to see how we can set up everything using the key function. And then we have the sales by month and years. So using this again. Okay. I don't know if you still see my screen.
Yes, it's fine. We see the screen.
Okay, go ahead. Okay. For example, here, I can use cube member here to set everything here, but I don't use to use cube function to set up the cube member. I guess I like to type them, but let's try this. For example, I want to measure to be lying in my top row. For example, I can come here and start typing cube member. And to start, we have to connect with our data model. So double quotation, this workbook data model. Close the double quotation, comma. The member expression, I wanted to select my measure. So double quotation again, and this can allow us to see every table that exists in my data model. So here we wanted the measure, so I'm going to select my measure, and I want the shells or the unit, okay. So I close my double quotation, and I can close my formula. Here we have the unit, and for example, for the store location, again, we can use the key member to get the store location, but I usually don't use them to set up my key member. So key member again, double quotation, this workbook data model, member expression. Here I'm selecting the store table, and I wanted the location, and I wanted, I can type everything here, but I can select all and then comma, and I wanted to select Austin, for example, and I can close my double quotation, close my formula, and we have this, everything set. And with all of this setup, we can use now the key value to get the value from this location and from this measure, from the unit measure. So we wanted the unit sold in Austin. So we can use the value, Q value book data model again, comma. Remember expression one, for example, I can take the unit and I wanted the unit from Austin location. So I can close my cube value formula and that. So here we have the unit sold from this location. For example, I wanted to compare with pivot table. So I can, if I go back to my pivot, Power Pivot, and for example, if I try to insert a pivot table, existing worksheet, let's put it just here. Okay. Okay, for example, if I take this store location in my rows, and then from my cell data, if I take the unit sold, and look what we get the same result. So we have 20,034 units sold for Austin location. So we have everything here. And for example, what I'm trying to do earlier is we can convert this pivot table to formula. So if I select my pivot table, go to pivot table analyze, we can go to OLAP tool and convert to formula. And the pivot table disappeared, and we have, if we go inside of the cell, so we have key value, we have key members, key members. So you can see we can use the same like pivot table. They're working like pivot table. So the advantage of cube function is that we can customize our presentation. We all know pivot tables are great for data analysis. We can use them to summarize our data set, but sometimes they don't come with the right presentation. And if we want to customize our presentation, we can use cube function. Cube function, they're working exactly like pivot table, and we can use them to summarize our data. So let's continue as I'm saying before, I don't like to use the key member here because I want everything to be dynamic. So let's put this back to unit and okay. So I just want to use my key value here. I don't want to use. Let me go back and show you. For example, here we use key value here, and we reference with the units sold and the location. And inside of the key function, key value function, we can use the key member inside. So this is what I'm going to do. If I put back the unit and the location Austin, if I go back, I will create my formula again, key value connection, this data model, close my double quotation, comma. I want to reference with my measure unit. So double quotation again to access to my data model. So I wanted the measure and I wanted from here we can set everything dynamic. So I'm not selecting any measure here. I want it to reference with what I put in my cells C14. For example, I want to put now let's first try this. So I put the unit here and close my double quotation. And for the second member expression, we want the location. So let's go again in our data model, double quotation, want the store and store location. Select all, for example, and for example, select Austin for now. So we have everything set up. So close my double quotation, close my formula, and we have the same result. And I'm not referencing to any of these cells. So if I want everything to be dynamic, I should be referencing to these cells. So let's go back to our formula. For example, instead of using unit in my measure expression, I wanted to reference it with what I put in my cell C14. So to do that, I have to use double quotation here, put my I% and I reference to cell C14. And if I want everything dynamic, I should keep the row. So I put the dollar in front of the row and close my I% and close my double quotation. And then for the store, I'm going to do the same thing. Instead of putting Austin here, I want everything to be dynamic. So we'll be using double quotation, 5%, reference with cell B15. And here again, I wanted to keep the row, the column, not the row here, column. So I put the dollar in front of the column. So close my I%, close my double quotation. Yeah, we still have the same result. And look now, if I go back to my formula, we dynamically referencing the rows and the column. So from here, I can copy my formula. I can copy, select my range, and I can pass formula. So I have everything set up. Yeah, and we can compare this with. Okay, I deleted my pivot table, but I can get it again if I go back to Power Pivot. manners. If we set up a pivot table again, existing workbook, I want to reference this, okay, and okay. If I put location in my rows and put unit salt, cells, and margin, right? So we can compare the two results. We have exactly the same result here. So it is the same thing like pivot table, but you can customize your presentation very well. And then let's fill up the other table for the brand as well. We can just copy the formula here, but I love to type it again. Key value, okay, key value connection. This workbook data model, close member expression again. Open the double quotation to access to my data model, and here I'm selecting the measure here again. Dot, and here we'll set everything. Okay, percent. Selecting the row age 14, keeping the row. Close my %, close my double quotation, close the bracket. Again, member expression 2. Here I'm selecting the brand. So we go to my data model again from the product table, selecting the brand. Here again, we want everything dynamic, so put double quotation, %. I'm selecting the row C15, and I will keep the row, so I put the $sign in front of the column. Close my %, close my double quotation, close my bracket, and close my double quotation. So we have everything, so we can close the formula. Yes, we have, and again we can copy the formula and paste. Okay, so we use key member function, key value. Now we can use the cube set formula. The cube set formula allows us to put in place a rank member. For example, if I want to return the product, the list of product, but I want just the top 5 product. I don't want everything. I want just the top 5 product. So I can use the CubeSet formula here. So CubeSet, first argument, the connection to this data model, closure. And the set expression, here we are selecting the product column. So let's go to product column. Access to my data model, we want the product table, and I want the product column. And from here, I don't want to return any specific member of the product column. I want it to be dynamic based on the sales of each product. So I want the top 5. So to force Excel to accept what I needed, I should put, for example, members. I will close double quotation, and the next argument is the caption, so I can put guest product. It's optional argument, so you can skip it, but in the short order I want to be descending. the last argument, I want to sort by the cells amount. So I will go to my data model again, we select the measure, and I want the cells. And close the double quotation, and I can close my formula. So we have the product here. Let's change the put the product T side. Right. Yeah, we have the cube set here, and we are going to use it for our cube ranked member. So now we are going to use the cube ranked members. So again, cube. Okay, cube ranked members. First, we have to connect with the data model. The set expression gonna be the cube set. So we lock this cell because I wanted to copy the formula after. So lock it. And then the rank, I'm going to use this column here. I put 1, 2, 3. So this is gonna be my ranking. So reference here. I want to keep the column. So let's do this. In the caption, it is optional, so we are not going to use it. Close my formula. And here we have all. And because Excel is trying, for example, in the cube, everything is already calculated. So the all is the total. So the total is the first, is the biggest sales amount. So we don't want to use the total. So we are going to start with 2. Instead of starting with 1, we're going to start with 2. So if we put 2 here, you're gonna see, yeah, I can drag anyone, yeah. So the first is gonna be this product, silence night. So we can copy the formula down. So this is my top 5 product, and then we can use you can use the key value to get the value from every product from this. Okay, key value again. Okay, this data model, and then the member expression one, you want the measure to be cells. So go to my data model, the measure, and again we want everything dynamic. So let's do this. Selecting this. I'm gonna keep the row. Close the ampersand, close the double quotation, close the bracket, close the double quotation again. Cube member expression 2, we are using the product. So let's go to data model again, select the product table, and we wanted the product, and we wanted not all, but we wanted dynamically the column L. So I double quotation, 5%, select the cells. I want to keep the column, so let's use the dollar sign. Okay, close the bracket, and yeah, the formula is ready. Okay, so we have the total sales for this product, and copy the formula. So we have everything. So last but not least, let's do for the sales by month and years here. Okay, let's do this quickly. Key value, this data model, close. Member expression 1, let's go to data model again, select the date table, and we want the years first, and we want to select them dynamically. So let's do this. 5%, selecting this cell. So let's keep the column. So using the dollar sign, close the 5%, close the double quotation, close the bracket, and then yeah, close bracket, double quotation again. Let's go to member expression 2, selecting the amount. So let's go to data model again, the date table. We're selecting the month name here, and I wanted again them to be dynamic. So let's use the bracket, double quotation, 5%. Select the cell. I'm gonna keep the row. So let's use the dollar sign. And yeah, close the 5% again, double quotation, bracket, double quotation. So everything is ready. Not ready yet because we didn't specify the measure that we are using here. So the last one should be the measure we are wanted to use. Let's go to data model again, using the measure table. Wanted to select, for example, I want the measure to be dynamic again here. So let's do this. Measure the bracket, and yeah, let's open the double quotation, 5%. I'm going to select this and let back the row. Okay, close the 5%, close the double quotation, the bracket, double quotation again, and yeah, the formula is okay. Yeah. Okay, I did this, but let's copy the formula now and pass everything. Okay, I just wanted to change the format. I don't want to use the general. Let use, for example, yeah, this. Okay, if I don't want the decimal, so I can lose them, and that yeah, absolutely. Let's actually use the number format. Yeah, absolutely good. Okay, good. So the way I did this is because now I can come here. If I want to see the margin, I can type the margin here. Be the margin. If I want to see the margin percentage, again, I can just put percentage here, and we're gonna have the percentage. The formatting is not quite useful, but we come to this later. So, for example, what I can do here is, yeah, absolutely, we can go to data, and we can use a list. Set up a list. For example, I want sales. I want margin, and I want the margin percentage. Yeah, we can do this. So set up everything so we can toggle between the measures. So yeah, absolutely. And we are going to come back later for the format for the margin percentage. So now let's do this, and then we can use as well slicer to filter our data. So if I come back here, let's first insert the slicer. So I can insert, for example, if I wanted to go to my data model. So I wanted to filter my data by, for example, if I want to use the manager ID, let's put it here, manager ID. So let's format it the column. Yeah, absolutely good. Let's start with this. So if I come back to my formula, and we can insert the slicer inside the formula. So like back, and we can start typing slicer and can see the slicer that exists in my workbook. So slicer manager ID, select this. Okay. So you can copy the formula again. So everything is good. So now we can filter by manager ID. And yeah, you can see, yeah, we can see some manager don't have cells in those regions. Right, so we can put some other slicer, maybe a timeline, data model, and yeah, from the dim date table, you can insert slicer as well. You can put it here, and yeah, we can select, for example, Carter or anything you wanted, and it inserts other like, I don't know, we can insert maybe can insert product category or brand. Let's say brand, and for example the size. Okay, can put them here. Okay, yes. Good, and the size I can put them here. Let's just format this with 2 column as yeah. Yeah, I think it's okay. And now we can connect the formula with all of this. For example, I can come back to my formula. Let's add timeline. Okay, timeline date. We can add slicer, for example, the brand. We can add the slicer, the size, everything. Okay, go back. Yeah, copy. Okay, and pass the formula. Okay, so we can slice with the timeline, with the brand, and with the size. For example, in the brand here, I'm not using the brand slicer, but I can use the other one. So I can use slicer manager ID, slicer, I can use the size as well, and we can use the timeline. Okay, timeline. Let's copy the formula. Okay, paste. You can do the same for the top 5 product. Let's put the timeline, for example, and we can use the manager ID as well. Let's keep them like this. So copy the formula and paste again. Let's do the same for, and here we are not going to use the timeline. We can use the other filter like slasher brand. We can use as well manager ID and the size. Copy again. Formula. So we can filter by brand, we can filter by size, everything. Yes, absolutely. So now we're gonna deal with the format. If we go back to margin, you can see that we don't have the percentage. The problem, if I take all of these and put them in percentage, for example, what we're gonna have, we have the percentage, but if we go back to cells, yeah, we have this, and this is not quite useful. So let's go back, and what we can do is use a formula inside the formula, and I'm going to use the let function here, that we can just don't repeat the formula many times, because I wanted to say, for example, if this formula is less than 1, if it's less than 1, that means it is the margin. So if it's less than 1, we can set a format for this. Otherwise, we can skip the normal format. So I will use the let function. So we can cut this first, and let's start with let, and we're gonna just name my range. So for example, value cube, for example, can put anything you want, and the value of my name gonna be all of this. So let's guess, okay, gonna be all of this formula. And then now we can use our if statement. So if my value, the cube value, is less than 1, that means we are in the margin percentage measure. So we can use a format here. Let's use text, and we text in again the value of cube, and format gonna be, for example, use 0, and you can put the percentage. Yeah, close the double quotation. We can close this text function. Otherwise, we are going to use the text again, our value cube, and we're gonna use, and this time let's just use something like this, 0, close the double quotation, and we can close the formula of text, and yes, close the if statement. We can close the let function statement here, and we have the right format here, and we can, yes, do this, pass the formula, and yeah, absolutely good. Now if we go now to cells, let me go back, and I think we should put this one. Okay, press this. Good. So if you use margin, you have the right format. If you use margin, you have the right format, and we can filter everything. If I will filter the slicer, yeah. So that's what I wanted to show you today. If you have any question, I'm here to answer. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Oh, yeah. I think the end of the session, and if there are questions, I can yes respond.
No, hold on. Hello?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, why are you asking me something? Sorry, I got carried away on one other conversation.
I
And
was
I
saying,
noticed like what?
I was saying that the end of the session, and if you have question, I can answer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I'm checking the chat box to see. Hilda, you have a question, right? I'm going to promote you so that you can ask. To others too, if you have any question, please raise your hand or type it in the chat box, and then I will promote you. And like I already told you that Salif always comes with like fully loaded content. See what you're able to build in just 1 hour, you know. Do you think, Sally, do you think the practice data is something that is not confidential, something that maybe later you can give us and we send to everyone?
Yes, I can send them to you. This is not confidential. I can send them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think someone is. Hilda, I've promoted you to be able to speak. You can unmute yourself. Kuban has asked a question. So he said, so Sally, this question is to you. So if underlining data gets refreshed, do we refresh it similar to how we refresh pivot table?
Yes. For example, what I did is I get the data from Power Query. So if my data get refreshed, so we just have to refresh our query. So if we refresh our query, my report are going to get refreshed as well. So that's all. For example, let's try something here. For example, if I go to, for example, the manager, manager. So I go to manager ID, and let's say I don't want to see those two manager again. So let's just filter them, close and load. So normally you can see they just got away. We don't have those manager again. And the same way we get blank here because we don't, in the fact table, we have to filter them again also.
Wow, great. So, Cuban, have you even not just as the answer is demonstrated in? So the answer is really yes. Once you refresh the data or and changes that happen in the data, it will reflect here. And if your data is, directly from an Excel sheet to the moment you change the refresh that you do for pivot table also carries on to here. Uh, Anybody, I've made every one of us that I see in the session are able to just directly unmute and speak. Hilda, you wanted to ask a question, right? This is your chance to, yes. Hilda, waiting for you. Okay, okay, but it's very faint. It's like maybe you put the mic far from your mouth. Salif, sorry, Oyeda. Salif, do you
Yeah.
hear him? Yeah, others, do you
No,
hear?
I think it is
Oh,
no. So far, I cannot hear.
okay. It's not only me then. No, it's not from my end alone. Do you want to try if you're using a I don't know wireless or anything else, you can just remove it and use the computer microphone. Nowadays, computer microphones are really good. I don't. You can just use them the way they are.
How about now?
Maybe
Can you hear me?
A is better.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So my question is this: the source code, sorry, the source data you used. I think I can't really remember the name. I didn't see where you referenced it, but you are adding it in the formula bar when you are typing it out. So I can't see where it is in the dashboard. That's in the sheets. So are you referencing it? Is it somewhere in Excel here that you are referencing it, that you're calling it, or it's just somewhere?
You mean the data models, right?
Yes, the source data.
Okay, okay. For I okay. Let me show you. For example, can you see my screen?
Yes, we still
Okay,
see
so
it.
if I go, for example, in Power Query, I get my data from workbook. Okay, and go to desktop and cube function. So in this workbook, I have all my dimension table, and this workbook, I don't know if you see my folder. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yes, I can.
Yeah. Here I have my dimension table here, and I have my sales table here. So I bring them together in Power Query. So just for to easy to do refresh. So if I, for example, if I open them, you can see them. Let's close my Power Query. You cannot see this one. I don't know if can you see this workbook, the dimension table? I don't think so. Okay. No. Okay. Let me reshare my wall. Yeah, so you can see. Yes. Now you're seeing this. So this is
Okay.
my data. So we have the date, we have the manager table, the store, and the product. So we can do the update in our dimension table, and then we have again our sales data. Okay. So we have the sales data here, and we can update them from here. And if my sales data get updated, all I have to do is just to refresh my query in the data. I can just refresh the query.
Okay. So with all these measures we've created now, for example, these tables we've created, that's the second question.
Yeah.
I believe it will be easier to create analysis using them, like to create visuals.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we can use them. Yeah, if we can, for example, create another worksheet, so we can have these are like the base for our, for example, the graphic, or yeah, the chart. We can create them from here.
So is it possible to demonstrate that so I can get a picture of how it works?
You want to create a chart with this?
Sorry?
Right?
Yes, an insight.
Yeah, go ahead.
I said, can you demonstrate that so I can get a picture of how it works?
Oh, okay. I didn't do this before, but we can, for example, if we want to set for example, a chart from this, we can do this, and yeah, we can just insert a. Let's, for example, I don't know, maybe. Okay, let me select my data. Okay, short. Okay. I don't know why. Okay. This, well, actually it's not working. I never tried it before. The thing is not working. We cannot insert the chart with this data. It look weird. We can just pull the value. We cannot create the chart with the data. It look weird.
Okay. So if I may ask, what then if we can create such with this data, what then is the need?
Maybe we can do is, for example, we can just take them from the value, and for example, if I do this, okay, back and control right, okay, control right, and from here we can just I think I have problem with my chart.
I'm also noticing it's coming out as if it's text. Do you think maybe from the pivot Power Query side or somewhere else, it might have been set as text? Because just now that you did the formula, I can see the numbers are showing as if they are text.
I think you are right. Yeah, I think I put them number, right? Number. Yeah, put general, for example, number. Have no idea, but normally it working, but I don't know what's happening with my Excel. Can insert any chart, but normally it can work.
Just to
Yeah.
suggest,
Yes.
the formula you did here that you did equal to, what if we do equal to then times 1? Maybe that will coerce it to a number. Should we try?
Here.
Yeah, should we do times 1 to the formula?
Okay. Right. If we do this, yeah, I think, well, I think the problem is Excel was treating them as text, so this is why it's not working. So I can, for example, control down and control right. and we can just put them select and add series. Can add the name, for example, and series. We can just select everything from here. Okay. Just edit this, and the series name gonna be okay. Add on. This one is going. No. Be this, and well, the series value gonna be this. And we can just select this series from here. So normally it can work, and it should be updating with our, yes, we just wanna select, and yes, yeah, it's working. I think, yeah, the problem is Excel was tracking them as text, so this is why it's not working. Okay, good.
Okay, all right, that's fine. So had it been can instead of copying it out to maybe if instead of copying out, yeah. So can we apply that multiplication by 1 on the table?
Inside the table?
Yeah. Or will it alter the formula?
What we can do, because what I was trying to do here is, for example, I convert everything in text, so I can have the two format, the percentage and the number text. So if we want to set up the chart, maybe at the beginning we just should avoid using just the text in the formula.
Okay.
We can just, yeah. If we can set up another table for the margin percentage, so we can avoid using the text inside the formula.
Okay.
Example, I can, for example, if I delete everything, right, in, yeah, strictly to the slicer, right? Normally, yeah. What I missed. Yeah, I think I just delete the key value. Right, yes, very good. For example, if normally if I do this like this, should be working. Now, make sure it is format like as number, yeah, absolutely. So right now should be work. Yeah, should be working. It was because we use, yes, the text for function inside the formula to work. So right now it should be good.
Good. Awesome.
Okay. Now, is recognizing the name of the months with numeric numbers.
I think we didn't
Now,
have
yeah,
to.
we can just change it from the select data. We can just select them from here.
Okay.
And even for the label, we can just edit them from here. Okay, sorry, edit 2000. Okay, say 3, and yeah, so good.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, no problem.
Anyone else want to ask a question? Salif, sorry, we've taken a lot of
No,
time.
no,
I
no,
think we've
no
taken
problem.
21 more minutes. You have something you have to do, right? Should I quickly wrap it up, or should we just give one more chance to a question?
No, no problem. You can talk about it.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so before, if people don't have question, I have a question. So
Okay.
in the last 2, 3 years that I've known you, you've done a
Yeah,
lot of things, and now I hear that you've even moved country again. You're now in Senegal. So the
yeah.
question is, can you give us your secret? Because I also want to be changing countries every couple of, and I know people too are trying to break into that international space where they can get opportunities, outside of their own country. And I know for you, I
Yeah.
think you've been in 4 countries in just these 3 years or 2 years that I've known you. So tell us the secret. How do you get those international opportunities and become internationally relevant?
Not big secret. For example, I spend yeah, I go to Morocco after my baccalaureate degree. So it was 8 years ago. So I spent 8 years in Morocco, and at some time I feel the need to change to discover a new country. So I just start searching in just LinkedIn. I use just LinkedIn. So I have some friends from Senegal before I came here. So I talk to them, ask them how is Senegal, how is the work, and yeah. And one day I saw an opportunity in a company in here in Dakar, so I just apply, and we have the interview. Everything goes well, and then they just call me to come. So yes, there is really no big secret, I guess. Connecting with people in LinkedIn, right?
Okay, thank you. Let me tell you my own funny story so that you can tell me how I could have done things differently. So, some years ago, while I was just only in Nigeria, no international thing on my CV, I got an opportunity in Benin
Okay.
Republic. So I went there for the interview. So three things came up. So number one was, okay, I had the language barrier. My French was not very good, but I think that was not the biggest problem. Though it was part of it.
Maybe, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
The second one I think is the biggest. So it was about the salary. I had to convert from my currency to their currency, and that time Naira was really doing good. So I didn't use Naira. I didn't even use their own currency, which is SEFA. I now decided to use dollars. So I
Dollar.
gave them that I wanted to be paid in dollar. It looks like it's when I converted it
Yeah.
back to Naira, it was not a bad amount, but they had problem with how much I was asking for too.
Oh, right.
Then the
But
third
yeah,
one.
if you compare the two countries, yeah, Nigeria is more developed than yeah Benin. And this is because people maybe don't being paid in as much as in Nigeria, maybe.
But now, the
Yeah.
money they were trying to give me then, if they give me again, now I'm going to run, like I'll be like, yeah, 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 yes, please give me now. Because things are now much bad with our currency. So the third thing that also happened was, and I had to factor in that I will relocate. I will leave you know, I have already found ways to live within my means in Nigeria. There was a support system, family,
Oh,
network. Or I now have to move there, start life all over, house and all. And house is expensive, especially electricity bills compared to Nigeria. So I want to ask you if with your own experience, right? If one is looking for a job outside the country and all those concerns are coming up, like how do you make a balance between what is a good salary Should I ask for exactly what I was collecting in my current job, or should I increase it by just maybe 20%, or should I double it? So how do I look at what I'm earning in, like you now, when you were in Morocco, you've settled there 8 years already,
Yeah.
So when you got this one, were you going to now look at what you are earning in Morocco and say, okay, if you can just give me the same amount, or if you can pay me at least 50% more, or what's the right way to come to a good, you know, uh, salary to ask them compared to what you're already earning in your home country? Then the other part that I know you can help with is what are the tricks to how to now integrate easily? Like, I don't even know if you need to do like a residency. I'm sure you will need to do some documentation, even though maybe your country might be allowed to go to Senegal without visa, but because you'll be there for long now, I'm guessing you might have to start paying money to do some registration and all. How do you make them cover the cost, or you will just make sure you collect salary that is big enough to cover those costs for you?
Yeah. But at first, when I decided to come to Senegal, they offer me exactly the same salary, not exactly, closely the same salary in Morocco. But this was not really my first, what I can say, my first goal to come to Senegal. I was aiming to discover a new country and connect with more people. And I asked some friend that already study in Senegal how is life, how expensive is the life in Senegal, and they told me it was closely the same in Morocco. So that was not a problem because I already experienced the life in Morocco. So uh, this was not a problem. In for Senegal as well, it is a French-speaking country, so to integrate it's gonna be really easy. And so I already have some friends also in Senegal, and Senegal is part of ECOWAS, and we don't really need big paper to come here. You just have your passport, and once you are in Senegal, you just have to take a paper from your embassy, and that all you. There is no really big problem with the papers, and well, the life is here is it's not really not really expensive. It's like in Morocco. So I already experienced the life in Morocco. It's likely the same in Senegal. So this is what I assessed before coming in Senegal. I compare the country, the integration, and I already have some friends that already live here for years for study, and they told me everything. So I assess everything. So before I come to Senegal, so bro, that really all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's helpful. At least
Yeah.
now I see that there is also more to it than just looking at the money part. One can consider other things. Thank you. So last chance to people. Any more question for Salif, or we can let him go rest and prepare for the next day? Is Hilda,
Yes,
you want to say
I
something?
I
Yes.
have a question. I want
Yes.
to ask, Salif, are you a data analyst or data scientist?
Actually, I, I get some certification for data analyst from Microsoft Power BI Data Analyst. I get the certificate, but my main training was not data analyst. I have a master degree in finance. So actually, I'm working in financial advisory in a consulting company in Senegal, but I'm doing some data analysis work as well in my company right now. So sometimes we have some client that need to set up a dashboard for reporting. So this is what I'm doing from apart from my main job, that is financial advisory. Sometimes I run data analysis work for my company.
Okay, my reason for asking is this
Yeah.
was, yeah, I actually embarked on a training in data analysis. So, and I
Okay.
would like to further it, maybe, venture into data science, using Python. So I don't really know how to go about it. So can you, walk me through the process?
Okay. Yeah, you wanted to come with data and data scientist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Uh, yeah, first you just have we have some main topic that we have to know about. For example, I don't know your main training. Do you have any background from data or IT?
No, I have a background in mathematics.
Oh, mathematics. That's a good story because that in data science we have to know mathematics, statistics, and some IT tool like Python or R. And if you already have background from mathematics, that's gonna be a good start. And you can start right now in Excel. Excel is a good start for data analysis and data science. You can start there, and if you know everything, you cannot know everything from Excel. But if you handle Excel, you can move to, for example, Power Power Query. Also, is a good thing to know. You can use them to clean your data, and after that, you can move to Power BI. Power BI is good for data visualization. We can get a great visual from Power BI. And for you, by knowing Excel, Power Query, and Power BI, you can just good to go for data analysis job. But after that, if you want to move to data science, because data science they work with predictive data, so you have to know some IT tool like Python. Python is programming tool. So you can use, for example, Python or R. R is also a programming language, so you have to know Python or R, either of two, and then you just have to know how to use them to. If you already have a background in mathematics, so you can also learn statistics, because in data science they use advanced statistics, so we have to know statistics well. And if you know statistics and you know the programming language Python or R, you are good to go. And there are so many platforms out there that you can use. For my example, you can use, I don't know if you know Maven Analytics, or even Enterprise DNA is good platform that you can start learning those tools.
Okay, that was my second question to ask. Platforms I can use to, yeah, for self-study.
Yeah, absolutely. For example, for data analysis, you can, for example, the company that Michael just presented at the beginning of the session, Enterprise DNA, it is a good platform that you can use. And I also recommend Maven Analytics. They have a really big expert for teaching you in data analysis and data science.
Okay. Thank you
I don't
so
know if
much.
you know the platform Maven, right? Do you know the platform?
I don't think she know, but I'll get the link.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I don't know. I'm checking. I'm googling it right away.
Oh, okay.
Also,
Okay.
see if I can post it on top. I think we've had the founder also come up on this session, this our webinar series before. So I think it's also, like Salif has said, a good one, good platform. Let me
Okay.
just if I remember when it came.
Actually, my first Power BI course was on enterprise DNA.
We've had also um, Brian from Enterprise DNA, but I don't think Sam McKay has come. But we've had Brian from Enterprise DNA.
Yeah, really good for data analysis. Absolutely.
Any other questions, or we can call it a day? Let me just check the chat if any. Okay. Can we get a copy of the file? Yes. So Salif has said he will share with me. What I will do is we will put it by tomorrow. Hopefully the video will be up. So we'll put it in the YouTube. So I will just give you the YouTube link today so that you just need to go there tomorrow, and then hopefully we'll have put it alongside the video.